I saw this on the internet the other day, and since I have absolutely nothing to do, I put a lot of thought into this. Which all whites you thought were the best? First of all, I love the fact that it says which all whites you thought were the best, okay? Because that's the question we need to know. Now, before I tell you my best in order, I need you to know something. This probably has a lot to do with where you were from and what age you were when these shoes came out, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, first up for me, the one I never wore ever were Chuck Taylors. Nothing against Chuck Taylors, just weren't my thing, and they're hard to put on, and there's no ankle support to them. Nobody I was ever around was rocking them. They was not fire when I was around. And I'm sorry, Chuck and Miss Taylor, Mr. Taylor. I'm sorry for your son. Chuck Taylors were my thing. The next were the KSwiss. Now, I personally never got down with KSwiss like that. I mean, just the KSwiss. When I'm my age, KSwiss just was never like, oh man, you got them KSwiss on. Them KSwiss. It's just like there's a couple people who pulled them off, but not too much, Next up is the shell toe for me. This is more if you was around the age Run DMC when Run DMC was popping. For me, I had some shell toes, never got too much never mind from them. Nobody was like, oh, Kev, you got the shell toes, but these are obviously a classic in hip-hop culture, breakdancing culture, and all that stuff. It was slightly a little bit ahead of my time as far as what was popping when I was in school and when clothes really mattered. Now, the next two are really gets down. And for me, it comes down to the Air Force Ones and the Reebok Classics. Now, when I was in middle school in North Carolina, this is before Air Force Ones really was popping. Reebok Classics were where it was at. I'm talking about all you needed was a pair of all-white classics, and you had your shoes for the whole year. Okay, it just didn't need nothing else. When the late 90s, mid to late 90s, 95, I want to say, 98, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Reebok Classics were where it was at. So those are imperative shoe. But for me, the number one shoe, big boy, will you stomp them in my Air Force One? Give me 2 per. Listen. Air Force Ones, I still got a pair of all-white Air Force Ones in my closet today, which is why I thought these all-whites was the best. Because right now, currently, in my closet, got a pair of all-white Air Force Ones. I had so many Forces, but you had to keep a pair of all-whites, okay? Lows, I had some high tops at times. Nelly made the rap song, really legitimized it, but we was already wearing them. I feel like in Harlem, they have another name for them. Maybe I'm mistaken. Do they call them Uptowns? Or did I just make that up? Someone from New York tell me I'm wrong or right, or yell at me and tell me bodegas are better than 7-Elevens. But I want to say they're called something else in New York, but I could be completely wrong, and people will drag me on the internet, but it's okay. But those are my 5 in order. Air Force One's number 1, Reebok Classics number 2, Shell Toes number 3, KSwiss number 4, and Chuck Taylor's number 5. Which all whites you thought was the best?